got the first text message that somebody had purchased, a $3,500 package.
Without you even talking to him.
I never spoke to him.
That's a good feeling.
Yeah, it was incredible, and it was like, wow, this is
automation at its best.
Incredible.
Yeah. Welcome to Opportunity Knocks. I'm your host, Todd Paton, and what a guest we have today. It's my man, Oscar Gonzalez, OG, as he's known by. OG, great to have you here, man.
Man, it's incredible. What a good time. I mean, just seeing this whole thing come out and then us connecting, like, let's do one.
Yep.
It's awesome to be here, man.
Love it, man. And the last time you were on here, correct me if I'm wrong, but we had I'll tell the story. Tell me if I say it right.
Yeah, sure.
So it was Nicole, myself, Oscar, and your wife, and we said, you know what? Let's all basically go. It was a concert. How'd you find out about it?
It was
Beethoven or something?
Yeah, it was an ad on Instagram for like a candlelit Beethoven concert.
So we have two couples. We're going to do dinner. We're going to do a concert and then dinner after. We had it all planned. So I'm thinking, OG, you live like 10 minutes away, right?
Yeah.
So he said, TP, we got to leave. We got to leave at 6 o'clock sharp. So if you know me at all, I'll probably leave my house at 6. But he said 6 o'clock sharp. I'm like, we'll be there in 15 minutes. Be there at 6:15. We end up getting there at like 8:10, I think, because it was traffic was so bad. He's on the other side in East Boca, and I'm thinking as I'm driving, I'm like, shit, we're gonna miss the concert. The only thing I could do is put Beethoven in the Sprinter. So we had blasting Beethoven on the drive. But we had a good time, and we ended up making it. We showed up late. It was awesome.
We caught a few minutes. It was nice. It was a good time, and then we moved on. Then we had a great dinner.
That was at Redfish. I don't know if that place is still there. We got to do that again, man. That was awesome.
It was incredible place.
So, man, I'm so glad you're here. And, your story is awesome. And it's going to be really valuable to our audience here because of some of the adversity that you had to deal with. And like myself, you kind of reinvented yourself. And recently, and it wasn't long ago, take me back now. Let's go back to the old e-commerce days. Yeah. Tell me how you got in that. Because first met, he was in selling other people's products, I believe. And then you started making your own. But tell us a little bit about how you got started in the e-commerce.
Yeah, sure. So that was back in about 2011. A company by the name of Groupon had just come out doing a new form of e-com and selling products. And so
coupons.
Yep, and doing Groupons, right, where people would buy and it would give them a discounted amount and off of going to a restaurant or all kinds of things. And so I saw an opportunity to actually make one of these websites. I wanted to create one of these.
Like a Groupon.
Like a Groupon, but local, here and really in the Tri-County area.
Okay.
And so that was where it all started. And, Eric and I, that's how we met. We had the idea at the same exact time without speaking to each other.
No way.
Yeah, it was really incredible.
You didn't know him before that?
Oh, I knew him.
Oh, you knew him. You were just...
we had never spoken about...
business.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that we bumped into each other at a bank, and I was opening the account for this new, Groupon type of site. And he was doing something for it, too. And he was like, man, this is what I'm doing. And I said...
Did he have a company also, or he was just in that early stage?
He was just about to get it started.
So you said, let's team up and do this together. No way. That's cool.
We started frugaling.co.
Yeah.
Right? Which was this local, services stuff, and we were calling florists and restaurants and putting
it wasn't products. It was just services.
It was services.
Okay.
That's how this
That's right, because Groupon's all services. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Groupon started selling products.
Ah.
And we said, well, what if we start kind of looking for stuff, and we got a request from Groupon to go and, do you have any, at the time, stylus pens, iPhone cases, this is before Amazon, right? So there was no competition. There was nobody selling the stuff online. This is 2012.
eBay probably, right?
eBay was probably your marketplace, And so, so we started with this product. We said, we could try to go get these stylus pens, and we went and sourced them, and we got them
in China.
In China,
yeah.
We sourced them in China.
I remember you guys making trips out there.
In a week or two, and we sold a few thousand in like a day. And we were like, whoa, what just happened? And our plan was really to have our own website, but then realized that competing against Groupon was not going to work,
right?
Especially in local markets.
They have the audience.
Forget about
eyes, it, So you see this success, this early success. You said we could do this times 20, right?
Yeah. let's look
Just
for
buy
more
other
products. Let's start really sourcing, getting into the logistics. It's all logistics. Inventory management.
And did you have the location? Was that the one on Coral Ridge? Was that where
we
did
were
you have
initially
that?
we were in an office. Eric and I were just in an office working out of there, and at some point we had to move out because we had products all over the place, and we were in like an insurance company, a mortgage company.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it was time to go. There's stylus pens everywhere, and we're stuffing envelopes every day. And so when we got to that point, we moved into a small warehouse, and that blew out the seams. It was maybe, I want to say 2,000, 2,500 square feet. And within 3 years, we moved into 15,000.
It was huge. Yeah, I remember seeing it.
Yeah.
And you had staff back there working. It was a really good operation.
Yeah.
But you're right. Logistics was that business, right? I mean, it was everything. Yeah. On the back end. Yeah. So how did that, how you did that for how long? That
2012 to 2020, so about 8 years.
Good run.
An 8-year run.
And that business is still running now.
It's running, yeah.
Eric's involved in
and
So tell me on how you got into this, because this business is awesome what you're doing now. First, tell us what it is, and then I want to hear how you transition from the e-commerce side to the digital side.
Yeah. So what happened was when I got out of e-com and I was trying to figure out what I was going to do, and it was COVID. Right, it's 2020, COVID, so I'm trying to figure out, and a friend of mine who I've known for a while, and actually, Sam, I actually brought him to you as a client, back in the day.
Great guy.
He brought me into the insurance business. He said, hey, here's what I'm doing. He had an agency, he was really successful with it, and I said, man, this is a good business, and I had been doing the e-com, doing video ads, affiliate, like it was already, we were selling products on Instagram, on TikTok, and so when I saw what was the advertising that was happening in the insurance business, man, there's a real opportunity.
Meaning it was just old school, like
pictures, it was just outdated, outdated methods of marketing, and for the most part, the industry is still outdated.
So there was an opportunity that was knocking that you saw. Right. You saw an opportunity by going with Sam and saying, "Wait, this is how you guys are mailers or whatever it is. Wait, we could bring digital into this." And all right, good.
And I quickly went on my own. I said, all right, you know what? Here's what I need to do. I need to, get into the insurance business.
So licensed and
got licenses in over 35 different states, and I'm a sales guy by heart.
Yeah.
I was doing e-com for 8 years, but prior to that, mortgages. Back in the day, and so I've been on the phones for a long time. So now going back to this, it was like, all right, let's go. I'll get on the phones and I'll build a book and start building an agency, and that's what I started doing.
And this was during COVID, or right?
This was like a year after, probably a year and a half after.
So a couple years ago.
A couple years. Yeah. I've only been in insurance for 3 years, and then what happened was, so I started life insurance, health insurance. Started putting out a lot of content, building a social, and I did. In those couple of years, I built, my social presence for my health insurance for both socials, but TikTok and Instagram, but. In December of, not this last December, but the year before, I got plugged in and met a big agency owner, insurance agency owner, and he's a big YouTuber, David Duford. Big shout out to David Duford if he sees this. But he's really a presence in insurance, and so I had the opportunity to connect with him. He has a big audience, and part of it was, well, how are you doing ads on TikTok? Because that's what I was doing at the time. I was running TikTok ads for final expense and for health insurance.
But now, just so I'm clear, David has an agency, right?
Yeah.
So why were you reaching out? Because you were an agent.
Correct. So I linked up with him to get contracts because he owns a large agency and he provides contracts to independent brokers.
Oh, outside of his agency.
Correct.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And so that's his structure. And so I had reached out to him, and I ended up getting some contracts under him in addition to the contracts that I already had. So that relationship started. And then from there, it was like, well, how are you doing videos on TikTok? And
he asked you, or you asked him?
No, he came to me because I was putting out the content.
He already saw some,
He had seen it, and I had shared with him that I was doing these sales that were coming in. Were coming from videos on TikTok, and he said, have you ever thought about like doing a course or selling, like promoting it? This is a real need, and at the time, I had connected with somebody who did courses, and I had bought it. You know,
you had bought it?
Yeah, when I first came into the insurance business, I spent $300 and I bought this course.
And it helped probably, eh?
I learned a couple things, you know. And so with that same person, I initially was going to do this, right? Start this lead generation setup system, like a done for you, right? For insurance agents. So agents that want to get a Facebook ad account, video ad, connections to CRM. We basically
in a box,
right? A white glove service, right? And so I came up with this whole thing, built a website, built a business, and David Duford said, "Hey, can you be on my channel? I'm going to put you down on my schedule for December 14th, December 19th, I think it was." This was like October, you know, and so it was like I had to build this business in like a month to really be able to deliver and get on this channel, you know. And we did. I we put this whole thing together. I built a website. I did everything that I needed to do. And I felt comfortable because I was running the ads already. Yeah,
you knew it. Yeah, and you could talk about it.
I've ran ads.
Yeah. And you're good at talking. You're a good communicator. So it's not like you're gonna get. And how'd you do in that? You crushed it.
We did great. You know, this thing came out December 19th. I was on his show, and it was, we got sales instantly because we set it up where people were being driven to a funnel, and in that funnel they watched the video, and then from there they chose the program they wanted. And I remember the night it went live, within 2 hours, and I had these notifications set up to tell me when sales happened, you know.
Sure.
I got the first text message that somebody had purchased, you know, a $3,500 package.
Without you even talking to him.
I never spoke to him.
That's a good feeling.
Yeah, it was incredible, you know, and it was like, wow, this is
automation at its best.
Incredible.
Yeah.
You know, and so from there it just started building, you know, and then we took on those clients, started building their setups, and saw just a need. It just started growing from there. Referrals happened quickly. And now fast forward, that was, again, December, not this year that just passed, but the year before. Okay. So just over a year. Yeah. Now we're managing as a company almost $1 million in monthly ad spend for agencies and agents.
So you're acting as their agent? As their digital agency.
Yeah, we basically
managing the paid ads.
We manage their paid ads on Facebook.
Do they still belong to the course, or is that course just one and done? Like when you're done,
that's the setup. So we have a structure where we set up one-time fee. They come in, and
the $3,500, whatever it is.
Yeah, there's different price points, and then they have a 30-day support. So we walk them through. We teach them how to use it, how to manage it, and after those 30 days, they can either join the ad management program and continue letting us grow and build those campaigns, or they just take it on themselves. And so many clients choose to come on board, and they become our monthly clients where we provide them fresh creatives, and we're doing all the ad, all the stuff that needs to be done.
What's the biggest, I guess, like roadblock that you had or setback? What was the biggest struggle building that up?
Being able in the early days being a one-man show, and
so just not having the resources,
just not having enough time, and I probably should have delegated some stuff earlier than I really did, because that probably would have helped me. But that was probably one of the big struggles, and it's always been a struggle for me in business to let work go. As an owner and as somebody who's creating something, like that's your baby, so.
It's interesting you say that. I'm glad you brought it up. So I learned something we had Mark Evans on, and Mark he's got a big following. He started out in real estate. He lives in Parkland now, and he just owns a bunch of companies, a bunch of real estate. He's a powerhouse.
Yeah.
And what he said, Oscar, is he told me, I don't ever want to operate a business. When I buy it, I just want to own it.
Yeah.
And I said, wait a second. If you buy a business, the first month you're going to be spending how many? And in my head, I'm thinking he's going to say, the first month I'll spend 70 hours, 80 hours, but 3 hours. He goes, I spend 3 hours max where I'm in it. And all I'm doing, he said, is finding out ways to optimize it. Like you did with the insurance business where you said, wait, I know this. We can make this improve. He does that when he buys a company. He just goes in, and then he hires people that are smarter than him
to go do it,
to operate it.
Yeah.
So it's really, I'm the same as you.
Right.
Unfortunately, I want to have that mentality of saying, let's just,
let's let it go. Let's delegate.
But it's hard to do that, right? So that was one. And then to overcome that, was there anything that you did to, like?
Probably just pushed it harder, just grinded it harder to get through because you see the opportunity, and that's the only way you're going to get to where you want a business to get to is by consistency and staying on it and just sheer like determination, right?
And then finding the right people are everything. And for what I've noticed is whether it's Fiverr you mentioned or it's a referral that somebody sends you, a contractor, once you find somebody that's really good, then you do whatever, even if it's paying a little bit more, that'll make you more money in the long run. Is that person who's so valuable, right? It's building that team, it's finding the people, the players that can deliver, and then going above and beyond for them. Not just pay's one thing, but there's other ways to, it's like retention. It's no different than retention with clients. Staff is it's actually more important, I think, because that's how you build it. So now, tell us how it looks now as far as your business model, the team.
Yeah, it's been, part of what we do in the insurance business when we do a setup is incorporate a lot of AI in the form of workflow, lead nurturing as soon as it hits, follow-ups, appointments, all these things that AI really does well now. And so now I've really incorporated that into my business, and automating a lot of the process.
Can you walk us through an example of that?
Yeah. So example, somebody goes to my website to sign up for a program or for a monthly subscription. They sign up. It immediately is going to trigger a confirmation to that person with an email, with a set of instructions, and it's pulling videos for them to follow to give us access on Facebook.
Where do the videos come from? Based on answers that they have? Or is it, so you have that all automated to that? So if they hit this,
correct,
this is the video they're getting. That's
custom values
awesome.
Within the CRM.
Is there a way, just so anybody listening, if they have a business, if they want to, is there a website you use for that? Is there a platform? Is there anything that
Yeah. So I use Go High Level, which is a big CRM platform, completely customizable. It's
GoHighLevel.com.
It's GoHighLevel.com. Yeah, it's if you don't have a CRM, it provides websites, funnel templates, thousands of them, and they're linked up with all the AI, open AI, everything. It's an incredible platform.
That's great.
Yeah.
So is that similar to what was the one that Russell Branson did?
ClickFunnels.
Yeah, is that like that?
It's a competitor.
There's tons of those.
It's a competitor of those.
Okay.
And so it's just a good tool.
Good.
Because you can run your business, use these automations. And so that's what I've really done in the business now. And then brought help, brought admins and people that can delegate and do this day-to-day work that, bogs me down where I really need to be building and developing more of the business.
And what does that look like as far as the growth of it? I mean, you mentioned earlier, when you had the Groupon business, you wanted to stay local. Obviously, you're here,
right.
But this business, it's not so the case. This is anywhere you could be, right?
This is all over the country, which has been a really good opportunity for us because, now we get to, leave for the summer for a few months and I can still work every single day from anywhere.
Speaking of that, you just got back from Colombia, right?
Yeah,
well, not just a couple months ago.
A few months ago. Now looking forward to getting back over there, so May we leave again. And
you were there for like 2 months, right? Or
3 months.
Jeez.
Yeah. This time we'll be there for like 4 months.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. But she works remote, my wife, and so she's a therapist. Big shout out, love you, baby. But yeah, so she'll work from there, and I'll work from there too. I got a WeWork, WeWork over there.
How about the work? We talked about finding help and admin. There's good help there, and it's cost effective too, right?
It's very extreme. Yeah.
You mentioned you met a developer out there that was like,
the conversion out there is if you can make dollars and live out there or be out there, your life is very different.
And it's nice too, right? Like as far as quality, it's not like when you think of countries like that, it's like, oh, it's poor, it's this, but you're drinking a Starbucks. I see you out there with your pinky sticking out as you drink. I saw it. I saw the videos.
It's really a good time, and we have 2 children, and so over there you can afford to have, 2 nannies, 8 hours
and
a
a
day.
chef and
and she's making you breakfast and they take care of the house, and it's just it's a very different lifestyle.
But you're from there originally, right? Your family.
Yes. Yeah.
So you speak. Yeah. So it's nice when you could blend in there. I stick out like a sore thumb.
Not so much.
Well, I look, maybe the looks, but when I start talking, they hear the Espanol.
Once they hear you.
Estudio Español 4 años.
Yeah.
Español uno, Español uno. So that was when I went to Colombia the one time. I must have said that. I was like one of those dolls. You pull the back, the string in. It's all you heard out of me. It was one after another. But, man, so what's next? Anything anything big, anything exciting in the works? Or
just right now.
You're still grinding it and building it up?
Right now, rolling out like an updated, brand new website, really
nice.
Incorporating.
Speaking of that, what is the website?
www.scalemysocial.io.
Love it.
So now rolling that out, some new things to the ad management program, just grinding.
So if I'm an agent and I'm, 3 years into it and I realize I'm bouncing around from one place to another, and I'm like, I got this license, and is your part of what your platform does is it gives them the ability to control that, right? Like that, you don't have to depend on other agents. You could build your own brand, right?
Yeah,
of course. That's ultimately what, agents especially, but every business, every industry, because if not, you're just going to be bouncing around from one. You have to build value yourself, and that's what you're doing here.
Yeah, you have to build the presence. You have to own the data. If you don't own your own data on the people that are coming to you or that are looking at stuff that you're putting out, you're just way behind the game, And in the insurance world, there's a system where agents come in, people get licensed, and they think that once they get licensed, they're just going to make a bunch of money because they're really sold those things by recruiting agents and stuff like that, And so they come in, they spend a bunch of money on leads. They have no idea where they're coming from. They're buying them from random lead vendors, and they're losing a bunch of money, And so this gives them the control over where the lead is coming from. It's generating fresh. It's exclusive to them. And we're using the best formats and structure to deliver performing ads to those agents.
So we talk a lot about automations and things like that, but what if an agent is listening to this and they say, this sounds great. I'd love to ask Oscar this question because I have it. Is it, I know there's a lot of automations, but is that like a consulting thing too, where you talk to them and say, hey, here's what I think is best for you? Or is it all done online without
no, right now you can book a call.
Okay.
If you go through the website, there's ways to book a call with myself or one of the other salespeople.
Yeah.
And we'll consult and because now we really work with a lot of bigger agencies also. So as bigger agencies, they have different needs. They need to customize to their team and what they're doing. And so that requires a lot of one-on-one and figuring that initial structure out before we roll anything out.
And I probably should have asked this in the beginning, but when we say insurance, obviously so many different things. Is this specific to health insurance or specific to?
No, we really focus since we've been in health and life. That's really where this rolled out, but now we're doing Medicare, whole life insurance, all different types.
But not like
insurance.
Auto or.
We are starting to do some P&C, some property and casualty, which is homeowners, auto, a little bit of business. So it's just you're delivering a different message.
Yeah, that's the I guess the cost that you have is creating all that library of content.
The creators.
And so if I know an owner, he owns a bunch of Allstates, is that somebody that would be interested in something like this, or it's too early for that side of it?
No, the problem with a larger cap,
they got to go through.
There's so much red tape to go through, man. I've tried it, because a good buddy of mine, his father was one of the largest State Farm owners in Kentucky for 20 years. And this guy retired, sold his agency. And so he put us in contact with a guy in Dallas that's one of the largest in Texas. And man, this guy loved it. He's like, wow, I got to be able to use this. We got to start doing these videos. And he was bringing his daughter, who's like 21, 22, just got licensed. And she was the person coming up, And so we had a call. His daughter fell in love with us. She was like, Dad, this is it. We got to build this presence.
So you sold them, but now they had to go through the chains. And when I had my agency, I also hooked up, I think it was Allstate agent. I can't remember what it was. It was in Miami. It was Allstate, actually, I'm positive. And I was doing the SEO pay. We were doing a whole campaign. And he said to me, you know what? I have money that I get from Allstate to pay you for this. You just have to become like and I went through it and I got it. getting involved with them and getting
Yeah.
approved
Wow.
through Allstate,
That's
the
pretty
national
big.
one. It was big, man. So
Yeah.
I got a few accounts from that, but yeah, so awesome, man. Well, listen, OG, it's been amazing having you here, man. I really appreciate you coming into Sprinter and telling us your story. It's an amazing story, and I want to see you keep growing this thing, man.
Yeah,
it's
likewise,
exciting,
man. It's so exciting to see you in this new venture, and you're always, man. You come at a left wing with things, man, and that's what I love. I feel like those are the things that put you, put it out there, and you become successful.
Thanks,
So
man.
wishing you the best of luck with this project and everything else that you're doing, like always.
Always, man. Love you, brother.
All right, man.